My girlfriend's little sister has a crush on me, and everyone, except me, thinks it's funny. I'm exhausted by this situation and honestly considering breaking up with my girlfriend. My girlfriend and I are in our 30s, and her little sister just turned 18. Since then, she has been acting more and more persistent toward me. She's always trying to find ways to help me, constantly starting conversations, trying to be alone with me, dressing up when she knows I'll be around, and even copying her sister's style with clothes and makeup. Everyone thinks it's harmless and even jokes about it, saying things like, "Oh, I saw your sister's boyfriend today," or "Is he your boyfriend now?" But to me, it's extremely uncomfortable. The last few times I tried to spend some alone time with my girlfriend at her house, her little sister would interrupt us, knocking on the door with silly excuses or just barging in without warning. I can't understand how no one finds this behavior strange. One time, she even tried to unlock the door while I was in the room with my girlfriend. She only got a light scolding, and that was it. Everyone treats it like it's just a harmless phase that will pass. My girlfriend laughs it off because she knows I'd never look at her sister that way. And of course, she's right. But that doesn't make the situation any less uncomfortable for me. What worries me most is the possibility that her sister could make up stories or misinterpret my actions. I can't let a misunderstanding ruin my reputation or destroy my life. I've tried talking to my girlfriend multiple times, explaining how seriously I take this and how uncomfortable I feel. But she always brushes it off. At this point, I'm starting to think that breaking up is the only solution. After that last conversation with Marina about her sister, I truly thought things would change. I thought maybe she would finally understand how serious this situation was and talk to her sister. After all, she knew I would never do anything inappropriate. But that didn't make the situation any less disturbing. I was wrong. Nothing changed. In fact, it got worse. The following weekend, Marina invited me over for a family dinner at her house. There was something about the invitation that made me hesitate, but I agreed to go. When I arrived, I noticed that her sister, Camila, was even more dressed up than usual. She wore an expensive-looking dress, perfectly done makeup, and her hair was carefully styled. It was obvious she had put in more effort than necessary for a family dinner. I tried to ignore it, but it became impossible when she was the first to greet me. "Hi, Lucas. You look really handsome today." The way she said it was unsettling, with a playful, almost flirtatious smile. I glanced at Marina, hoping she would pick up on it, but she just laughed, thinking it was harmless. "Oh, look at that, Lucas. Camila is complimenting you again. You're her eternal crush." Marina said it like it was the most normal thing in the world. The whole table laughed, and I just sat there frozen, trying to understand why no one found this weird. It was as if my presence, there was some kind of entertainment for Camila, and the family just watched it unfold like a live comedy show. During dinner, Camila made sure to sit right next to me. Every time I said something, even something completely meaningless, she reacted in an exaggerated way, laughing loudly or agreeing enthusiastically. At one point, she accidentally dropped her napkin on the floor and took far too long to pick it up. It was uncomfortable. I looked at Marina, hoping she would notice her sister's behavior, but she was too caught up in a conversation with her mother. The breaking point of the night came when I was helping clear the table. Camila came into the kitchen, and while I was placing dishes in the sink, she got closer to me. "You know, you're the most handsome guy I've ever seen, right?" Her words came with a confident, direct gaze, something I'd never seen from her before. I froze for a moment, then mumbled something like, "Thanks, but that's not appropriate," and stepped away. She just laughed, as if my response was some kind of joke. When we returned to the living room, she acted as if nothing had happened. And again, no one seemed to notice. After I left that house, I started seriously thinking about what was going on. That girl had just turned 18, but her behavior wasn't just a silly teenage crush. She was testing boundaries, and the fact that no one was stepping in only encouraged her more. The next day, I texted Marina and explained again how deeply this was affecting me. Her response frustrated me even more. "Babe, you're overreacting. It's just a phase." She would never actually do anything. That was the moment I realized Marina would never take this seriously. To her, it was all just one big joke. In the following weeks, Camila kept getting bolder. She started showing up at places where I was with Marina, pretending it was a coincidence. One day, we were at the mall, and she just happened to be there too, claiming she was out shopping. She ended up tagging along with us the entire afternoon, dominating the conversation and making comments that left me deeply uncomfortable. "You and my sister make a cute couple, but I think you'd look better with me." She said it in a joking tone, but her eyes told a different story. Marina laughed it off again. "Oh, stop it, Camila. He'd never go for you." Like that solved everything. But it didn't. It only made things worse. Things reached a breaking point when I went to pick up Marina at her house one afternoon, and Camila was the one who opened the door. She was alone, which immediately put me on edge. While we waited for Marina to finish getting ready, Camila sat next to me on the couch and started talking. At first, it seemed harmless, but the conversation quickly shifted. "You know, if you and my sister ever break up, I'm here. I think we'd be a better match." She wasn't joking. Her tone was serious. I stood up immediately, saying I'd wait in the car. She let out a soft laugh and said, "Wow, you're so serious." "Relax, it was just a joke." But it didn't feel like a joke. I told Marina what had happened, but as always, she brushed it off. "You really need to stop taking this so seriously. She's just messing around. Do you honestly think she has feelings for you? She's just a kid." That made me furious. How could she be so blind? After that, I started avoiding going to her house. Every time Marina suggested it, I came up with excuses. But this started causing tension between us. "Why don't you ever want to see my family? This is getting annoying." I knew that explaining it again would be pointless, so I just said I was busy or tired. Now, I'm stuck in a dilemma. I love Marina, but this situation is destroying me. Camila is getting bolder by the day, and Marina seems incapable of taking it seriously. Worse, I feel like if this continues, something bad could happen. Every day, the pressure builds, and I feel like I'm reaching my breaking point. After yet another frustrating conversation with Marina, I felt completely lost. No matter how many times I tried to explain how uncomfortable Camila's behavior made me feel, Marina always dismissed it as a joke, like it was just a harmless phase that would pass. But it wasn't. Camila was becoming bolder, more confident, and I felt like I was walking straight into a trap that no one else seemed to see. I needed advice. Someone to tell me if I was overreacting or if this situation was as serious as I thought. So I decided to talk to Andre, my best friend. If anyone could give me honest advice, it was him. We met at a quiet bar we used to go to. As soon as Andre saw me, he knew something was wrong. "Man, you look terrible. What's going on?" he asked, concerned. I let out a long sigh and started telling him everything. The suggestive comments from Camila, how she dressed provocatively when I was around, the time she tried to unlock the door while I was with Marina. I told him how Marina refused to take it seriously, brushing it off as if it were some kind of joke. Andre listened quietly, his expression growing more serious. He took a sip of his beer and leaned in closer. "Dude, this isn't a joke. That girl is playing with fire, and you could be the one who gets burned." He lowered his voice. "You need to protect yourself. Start recording. Every time you're around her, leave your phone recording. If she tries anything, you'll have proof. Record her." I asked, surprised. "Yes. You don't know how far she might go. If she makes something up, you're screwed. But if you have it recorded, she can't twist the story. You need to be smart about this." The idea made me uncomfortable, but I knew he was right. If Camila crossed the line, I needed to be prepared. The next day, I set up my phone to record audio automatically. I placed it in my back pocket, making sure the microphone was clear. I couldn't afford to take chances. That very afternoon, I received a message from Camila. "Hey Lucas, could you help me with something? I bought a big mirror and need help hanging it in my room. It's heavy, and I don't want to bother Marina. She's busy." A chill ran down my spine. It was too obvious, but saying no could be dangerous. If she got offended, she could start making up stories. I took a deep breath and replied, "I'll stop by later." Before leaving the house, I activated the recording. I didn't know what to expect, but I wasn't going to lower my guard. When I arrived, Camila opened the door. She was wearing a silky robe that barely covered her body. Marina went out to run some errands. "This will be quick," she said with a smile that made me uneasy. "Where's the mirror?" I asked, keeping my distance. "In my room." "Come, I'll show you." I followed her upstairs. As I entered her room, I saw the mirror leaning against the wall. But something was off. The room was dimly lit, candles were burning, and there was a strong scent of perfume. The mirror was positioned strategically facing the bed. "Where do you want me to hang it?" I asked, my voice dry. "Right there, near the bed," she replied, her tone soft, almost like a whisper. I started measuring the wall. That's when I noticed something strange in the mirror's reflection. I froze. In the reflection, I saw Camila slowly loosening the tie of her robe. It slid off her shoulders and fell to the floor. Underneath, she was wearing black lingerie. Tight, provocative, clearly chosen for this moment. She knew exactly where I was looking. She wanted me to see. I turned around immediately. "Camila, what the hell are you doing?" She smiled, biting her lip. "Oh, come on, Lucas. You don't have to pretend. I know you like what you see. No one has to know. Marina doesn't need to find out." My stomach turned. "Put that on right now. Don't ever do this again." But she didn't move. She just kept smiling. "Look, if you don't want it, that's fine." But her voice dropped to a chilling tone. "If you don't give me what I want, I'll tell everyone you try to touch me. I'll tell Marina, your friends, and who do you think they'll believe? Me or you?" I froze. My breathing quickened. She was threatening me. She thought she had control. But what she didn't know was that I had everything recorded. Every word, every threat. Without saying a word, I left the room. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. I got into my car, locked the doors, and stopped the recording. My hands were shaking. I called Andre. "Dude, it happened. She did it. She threatened me. She said she'll tell everyone I try to touch her if I don't give her what she wants." There was silence on the other end. "Tell me you recorded that. Every second of it." "Good. Keep it safe. And be careful, Lucas. This isn't over." I hung up. I knew he was right. This wasn't the end. Camila wasn't going to stop. Now I was trapped. If I showed the recording to Marina, would she believe me? Or would she think I was twisting things to make Camila look bad? And what if Camila got ahead of me and claimed I was harassing her? I had proof, but I was terrified. I knew something worse was coming. I had never felt so much anger and frustration in my life. After what Camila did in that room, I knew I had to put an end to this once and for all. I couldn't keep pretending everything was normal. Not after that threat. I had the recording in my hands, clear, solid, undeniable proof. It was time to confront Marina with the truth. She needed to know who her sister really was. I grabbed my phone, reviewed the audio, and mentally prepared myself. My heart was racing, but I was determined. I called Marina, but she didn't answer. I texted her, "We need to talk. Now." As I drove to their house, I kept telling myself that this would finally end here. That I would be free from this madness. But what awaited me was far worse than anything I could have imagined. As soon as I parked in front of the house, I noticed something strange. Several cars were parked along the street, some of which I recognized as belonging to Marina's family. Before I could even knock on the door, it swung open violently. Marina stood there, her eyes red and swollen from crying. Before I could say a word, she slapped me across the face. "You bastard!" She screamed, tears streaming down her face. "How could you try to grab my sister?" I froze. I looked around and saw her entire family gathered in the living room. Her father, mother, a few uncles, and Camila sitting on the couch with her face buried in her hands, pretending to cry. "What the hell is going on here?" I asked, completely confused. "How dare you ask that?" Marina's father stepped forward. "Camila told us everything. She said you tried to force yourself on her." It felt like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. My hands started shaking, but not from fear. From rage. "What?" I shouted in disbelief. "You actually believe that?" Before anyone could answer, I heard sirens. The police had arrived. 2 officers stepped out of their car and approached the house. "We received a report about an attempted assault." "Who made the call?" one of the officers asked. Marina's mother raised her hand and pointed straight at me. "It was him. He tried to grab my daughter." She spat, her eyes filled with hatred. My blood boiled. My entire body trembled. "You people are insane." I exploded. "You really believe this lie?" The officers gave me cautious looks. "Sir, we're going to need you to come with us." I laughed. A bitter, Desperate laugh. No, not before you hear this. I pulled out my phone with trembling hands. You want the truth? Listen to this. I played the audio. The room fell into a suffocating silence. Every word from Camila echoed through the air. Her forced compliments, her provocative tone, and finally, the chilling threat. If you don't be with me, I'll tell everyone you try to grab me. Slowly, everyone's eyes turned toward Camila, who had turned pale and was now frozen in place. The silence was broken by one of the officers. Miss, this is very serious. Do you have anything to say? Camila didn't answer. Her fake tears had vanished. She just stared at the floor. Marina was in shock. She was trembling, staring at me, then back at her sister, unable to process what she had just heard. You're all a disgrace. I shouted, my voice filled with fury. This entire family is a disgrace. You believed a spoiled brat without even listening to me. And if I didn't have this recording, you'd be celebrating while I was being arrested right now. I could be in jail, or worse, dead. Marina's father was speechless. Her mother covered her mouth with her hands. Marina collapsed onto the couch, powerless. Sir, would you like to press charges? The officer asked. I stared at Camila, who was now crying for real, not out of manipulation, but fear. Yes, I want to press charges. She tried to ruin my life with a lie. She has to face the consequences. The officers exchanged glances. One of them approached Camila. Miss, you're being taken to the station for questioning. Please come with us. Camila started begging. No, please. It was just a joke. I didn't want it to go this far. But it was too late. As they let her out, the entire family stood frozen, not knowing what to do. Marina's mother turned to me. Are you really going to do this to her? She's just a girl. I stepped forward, looking each of them in the eye. She's a girl who almost destroyed my life. And you helped her. And you know what? If I hadn't recorded this, you'd all be cheering while I was dragged away. Don't you dare talk to me about morality. Marina tried to stand, but crumbled into sobs. There was nothing left to say. I walked out of that house, my chest burning with rage. At the police station, I filed the report. I explained everything. I showed them the recordings. The officers were clear. This was no joke. Camila was detained and would face charges for false accusation and defamation. I made it clear that I wasn't going to back down. She needed to understand that actions have consequences. Marina's family tried to contact me afterward, but I ignored every call. I blocked numbers, deleted contacts, erased everything that tied me to them. Marina sent me one last message. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I let this happen. Please forgive me. I read it and deleted it. There was nothing left to say. From that moment on, I was free. Free from that family, that lie, and that pain. And I would never again let anyone come close to destroying my life.